Tonight, talking tariffs. The First Minister heads to Washington for discussions over whisky tariffs. He'll meet industry and political leaders tomorrow. Also tonight, keeping our children safe online. A mother whose daughter took her own life after being exposed to harmful content on her phone says more must be done to protect youngsters.
I think we could be sleepwalking into a position where people think that the act is done and dusted, that's what it is, and it just isn't like that.
While in sport, Scotland prepared to take on Belarus in their next World Cup qualifier. The game is being played behind closed doors in Hungary. I'm Andrea Primer. This is the STV News at 6, live from Aberdeen. Good evening. The First Minister is flying to Washington to try to reduce import tariffs on Scotch whisky in the US. He'll meet industry and political leaders in the American capital tomorrow. His trip comes 10 days ahead of President Trump's state visit to the UK. Well, our political editor Colin Mackay is with us. So what's he hoping to achieve, Colin?
Well, the UK-US trade deal secured a 10% floor for most things imported to the US from the UK, and that is already better than most countries have got. But the First Minister says he'll do anything he can to get a better deal on whisky, and that's why he's flying over there right now. In fact, this was very much a last-minute decision. It was only agreed that he would do this over the course of the weekend. But the US is basically trying to protect its own economy by slapping taxes on imports. But Scotch whisky can't actually be produced in America. It can only be made in Scotland. So the industry is arguing for zero tariffs, and it actually has the support of the US spirits industry on that as well. So when President Trump was in Scotland over the summer, I asked him if he would take another look at the tariffs on whisky.
We're talking about the Isle of Lewis. We're talking about serious Scotland. That's serious Scotland. There was no doubt about it. So yeah, it gives me a feeling, it's different. You go to another country, you have no relationship to it. You get to like maybe the head of the country or something. But it's different when your mother was born here, Stornoway, right in Stornoway, a beautiful little place.
So is there a better deal to be done? Is there a better deal to be done for Scotland, for whisky, for example? Because of your love of Scotland, is there a better trade deal to be done for Scottish businesses like whisky?
Well, I assume when we do our trade deal overall, a lot of it comes to Scotland, I hope. Maybe all of it should go to Scotland.
It's a very good deal for the whole United Kingdom, and we've already achieved great things out of the deal, and we'll achieve even more as we work together.
Mr. President, a lot of it is going to Scotland. I mean, I do know that, but I mean, we're dealing with the UK. But a lot of it comes to Scotland. And, I was very particular. This is a part of the world I want to see thrive.
Now, the US President wasn't even aware of this as an issue when I asked him about it. He said he didn't know that it was a problem. Well, it's now very much on the agenda ahead of the next state visit to the UK in 10 days' time. The First Minister is meeting the UK Ambassador to the US, Lord Mandelson, and staying at the UK Embassy in Washington tonight. He has meetings with the industry and political leaders tomorrow, and it's not yet clear if he will have a meeting with President Trump himself, but he is being accompanied on this visit by the Managing Director of the Isle of Harris Distillery. And as President Trump said there, he has strong connections to the Western Isles. Serious Scotland is how he described it, and whisky is serious business in Scotland. Any cut to the tariffs at all could be worth millions and could boost jobs.
All right, we'll keep tabs on what happens then, Colin. Thank you. A mother whose daughter took her own life after being exposed to harmful online content is warning more must be done to protect youngsters. Sophie Parkinson from Dundee was just 13 years old when she died. It's just over a month since the UK saw the biggest change to its online safety law. But Sophie's mum, Ruth Moss, who's campaigned for tighter regulations, is warning we could be sleepwalking into new dangers for children. Reem Sattar has been speaking to her.
So how do you describe Sophie?
Oh, gosh, where do I start? She was a really beautiful person, a beautiful human being. She was all the things that you'd love about a person. She was funny and kind and gentle. She was a really sensitive person. She was the first person that would be there helping somebody if they needed help. And she was clever. But I remember, in amongst the sadness of the end, I remember lots of laughs as well.
Sophie Parkinson was given a mobile phone at 12 years old. A year later, she took her own life. Her mother, Ruth, found extremely harmful content on her daughter's phone before her death in 2014.
It took me a long time after Sophie died to make any sense of the world again. It was like I have a before and I have an after. My social media feed was full of cat videos, and Sophie's social media feed was full of devastating and horrific material. And it was eye-watering. The things that Sophie saw should never have been seen, and it was that made me very determined to improve the situation. I wasn't going to change things for Sophie, but if it could improve things for another child or another family out there, then that was only going to be a positive. I thought 12 was quite young, but nowadays you see children of 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, etc. with mobile phones, and that's just far too young for what's out there.
Well, Ruth is not alone in her fight to make the internet a safer place. She's part of the Bereaved Families for Online Safety group, which led the campaign for the UK's new Online Safety Act. But what are the new regulations? Well, the biggest change is companies operating in the UK must implement age verification methods to check whether the user is under 18. Harmful content must be filtered out of children's algorithms on social media. A named person must be identified who will be accountable for children's safety and annually review how they are managing risks to children on its platforms. Now, both Meta and TikTok have created teen accounts, which is to protect young people on its apps, and say 99% of potentially damaging material is removed. Those involved in online child protection want to see adults engaging in open conversations with their children.
I cannot emphasise enough how different what is appearing on the children's feeds is to what is appearing on your feed or on their parents' and guardians' feed. The children are seeing a completely different range of content. It's very gendered, it's very intense a lot of the time, and the only way that you can understand what's happening on your child's device, with algorithms being the way they are at the moment, is to just be trying to sit next to them and trying to get a window onto their actual feed. And it's a conversation that we have to develop with our child really gently.
For Ruth, steps were taken to protect her daughter online, but says parents are up against trillion-dollar companies.
And I think we could be sleepwalking into a position where people think that the act is done and dusted, that's what it is. And it just isn't like that. We need a lot of politicians and charities and individuals to stand up and say, this was a first step, but we need to keep up with the technology. It felt very much like I'd lost a battle to try and protect my child online, because I had those conversations and I'd done the things that I thought would keep my child safe online, and it hadn't worked.
Reem Sitar, STV News.
Keir Starmer's new ministers got down to work after last week's dramatic reshuffle with a promise of tough new policies on immigration. The reshuffle has also put the largest number of Scottish MPs into government for 15 years. Well, our Westminster correspondent Paris Gertsianis joins us now. So Paris, are Labour trying to put last week's drama behind them now?
Yeah, absolutely, Andrea. It's clearly being seen, this reshuffle, as an attempt by the Prime Minister to seize back the agenda after the damaging resignation of Angela Rayner. And as we speak, the Prime Minister is in a meeting with his MPs to drive home that message. We've seen the first results of this shake-up today, with the new Home Secretary taking a much tougher line on migration. She says that not only could asylum seekers in future, more of them, be housed in military bases, but that she plans to punish countries that refuse to take deported citizens citizens back by cutting the number of visas issued to them. It's striking too to see just how many Scottish MPs have been given government jobs, not just the new Scottish Secretary Douglas Alexander, but 8 other Scottish MPs too. They include Ian Murray, the former Scottish Secretary, and interesting to see the name Zubair Ahmed on that list. He's a Glasgow surgeon who now serves as a health minister. Of course, health is devolved, so most of his work is only going to apply to England. I asked one of the new ministers what the impact would be of having so many Scottish MPs in government on voters and on Scottish Labour's chances of winning the Holyrood election next year.
Well, I think what people will see is that Anas Sarwar is a leader who has real influence with the UK government, and is someone who is leading change rather than the current SNP government, who more and more people I think are thinking are the barrier to change in Scotland. We're all Team Labour. We're all working together on the same aims, which are to improve living standards, to get the economy growing and turn around everything that's broken in this country.
Now, Paris, you mentioned Ian Murray's been given a ministerial job after being sacked from the Cabinet on Friday. So what's happened there?
Good question, Andrea. Number 10, we're very clear on Friday, Ian Murray has left the government. Then on Saturday, we learned that he'd been given a more junior role as tourism minister with some responsibility for science and technology too. I've seen demotions from cabinet before, but nothing quite like this. It's clear that there was a big backlash, real unhappiness in Scottish Labour at the way he'd been treated. Number 10 would have been aware of that. Officially, they say that this was simply the Prime Minister's decision. There's only 2 men who really know what happened. Neither of them have commented yet.
All right, Paris, many thanks for the update. Tributes have been paid to a man from Scotland who died when a funicular cable railway in Lisbon derailed last week. 82-year-old Andrew Young's family said he was a lifelong transport enthusiast, and they find comfort that his final moments were in pursuit of the hobby which gave him so much happiness. Relatives of people killed in the Lockerbie bombing can register with the FBI to remotely access next year's trial. Abu Agilu Mohammed Massoud is accused of carrying out the attack which brought down Pan Am Flight 103 in 1988, killing 270 people. He denies the charges. Detectives are appealing for witnesses after 2 men were assaulted in Dundee city centre in the early hours of Saturday. The men, aged 63 and 70, were at the top of the stairs on King Street at 1:10 in the morning when they were attacked by the man. He's described as being around 45 years old, 5'8" in height, and was wearing a grey long-sleeve top. He was last seen running into the tunnel towards Ladywell roundabout. One of the men was treated in hospital. Fire crews remain on the scene 5 days after a blaze broke out within a compost pile near Dundee Airport. Emergency services were called to the incident at Riverside Recycling Centre on Thursday evening. 3 appliances are continuing to monitor the situation of the deep-seated fire within garden waste. It's causing heavy smoke in the area, with local residents advised to keep their doors and windows shut. The local authority confirmed the recycling centre will remain closed until further notice.
This appears to have been spontaneous combustion within some garden waste in compost form due to self-heating. It's been a significantly challenging incident for us, and we've had 2 pump attendants and a high volume pump throughout that time, working 24 hours a day. The challenge has been around the amount of compost that's been involved. We're looking at around approximately 15,000 tonnes over a wide area.
A fund that allows communities to invest in grassroots projects in their area has launched in 2 further wards in Dundee. People in the north east and east end of the city will benefit from a further £60,000 through the Make It Happen fund. It's already seen £47,000 allocated in Lochee and Strathmartin and is designed to give locals the power to decide what groups and projects would make a positive difference where they live.
This fund not only supports existing initiatives within the community with much needed funding, The real icing on the top of the cake is where we see new people stepping up and saying, I've got an idea, I don't need to be a constituted group, I'm going to give this a go. And you'll have 3 or 4 community members say, I can solve that local issue by providing this sort of community support service. And that's really, really the exciting piece for me.
This is exactly what the community needs, and that's why we were so excited to get involved, because again, as part of the community, I didn't have these exact ideas, but as soon as they come forward, I said, I would be a part of that, absolutely. So yeah.
Yeah, it's like a million minds together, just all come together. And when you get on little groups like this together, it's exponential. It's like it just explodes.
Now, in a groundbreaking discovery, scientists using the James Webb Space Telescope have found signs that an Earth-sized exoplanet could have an atmosphere. Researchers at the University of St Andrews analysed the planet from 40 light years away, looking for clues to its habitability. Early results suggest the planet may have a thick atmosphere, which is crucial for supporting water, though more data is needed. It marks a significant moment in the search for life beyond Earth.
Today we are presenting the first observations from the James Webb Space Telescope of the planet right in the middle of the habitable zone, TRAPPIST-1e, to try and search for air on this planet. If the Earth itself had no atmosphere, we would have no greenhouse effect and hence no ocean. It would just be, we'd be a ball of ice floating in space. TRAPPIST-1e is very similar. We need there to be air with a sufficient concentration of greenhouse gases in order to allow liquid water and hence the habitability of the world.
Well, that takes us to sport now. Now, Scotland are back in action again tonight, and they actually did really well on Friday, I thought. Lots of chances in the second half.
They'll have done really well, Andrea, if we get the win tonight.
Yeah.
Do you know what? We could have won. We could have won. Lyndon Dykes' first touch could have been a goal, but he delayed. But do you know what? If we do it tonight, all will be forgiven.
Your window to sport. C.R. Smith sponsors STV Sport.
Hello. Yes, John McGinn says he doesn't want to miss out on playing in a World Cup for Scotland. That's ahead of tonight's second qualifying match against Belarus. The game will be played behind closed doors, no fans in Hungary, and head coach Steve Clarke's hinted at a more attacking lineup to chase what would be a valuable 3 points. Here's Jamie Borthwick.
For most of this squad, the course of World Cup qualifying is no novelty, but having known only disappointment in the quest to return Scotland to football's biggest stage, the motivation to make it to the tournament next year couldn't be clearer.
I remember being in the dressing room when certain players realised that it was their last chance to qualify for a World Cup, and I saw it in their faces. I could feel the pain, and I don't want us to go through that same experience. So I think we know what's at stake. We're not stupid, we're not going to be playing forever, but the exciting thing for Scotland fans is you've got players like Doki coming through, players who are helping us.
After Friday night's goalless draw with Denmark, Scotland remained in Copenhagen to prepare for Belarus, who are Group C's lowest ranked team.
Obviously, when you go to Denmark, you're playing against a pot one team away from home. You know you're probably not going to have the majority of possession. You know you're going to have to defend really well. Tomorrow, hopefully, we can have more of the ball. We can use the ball better. We can create more chances with the ball, more clean chances with the ball. We still created chances the other night in Denmark. If we can create more clean chances with the ball, then that should help us to get the result that we want.
Tonight's match takes place in Hungary behind closed doors due to UEFA sanctions regarding Belarus's support for Russia's invasion of Ukraine. The empty stadium will recall memories of Scotland's Euro 2020 qualifying success, which took place during the COVID pandemic.
The Serbian game was closed doors, and we were definitely all up for that. So that's the kind of thing that would be harder. But again, the magnitude of the games, knowing that we need to get the win, I think we should be motivated enough, and there shouldn't be an issue. And the players have experienced plenty of it, and hopefully it will be a comfortable one.
Here's hoping. Now, new Ross County manager Tony Docherty says he did see some positives he can work with this week, despite his frustration at falling to defeat to visitors Arbroath on Saturday. Well, the Red Lichties are already racking up the points in a season many pundits, not me though, thought they'd struggle, and they can be more than content with their performance in the 2-1 win in Dingwall. Former Dundee manager Tony Docherty would have been desperate to conclude his Staggies dugout debut with a win. But many of the issues that ended Don Cowie's tenure persist, and it'll take more than just one training session to fix them. Arbroath are a title-winning team and their confidence is well-deserved. County haven't won in 15 league games, and it looked bleak for the home side when Nicky Todorov planted a header past Laidlaw for 1-0. Missing international call-up striker Ronan Hale, the Staggies rallied after a half-time team talk from Docherty. Kieran Phillips levelling from the spot as the home side took the ascendancy. But the bar and 2 chalked-off goals meant it was still tied late on. Arbroath coming up with the crucial play to win a penalty, Declan Gallagher clipping Jacob McIntyre, and with 2 minutes left on the clock, Aaron Muirhead placed his kick past Laidlaw to win the game.
We look at things that we've done well, but we also analyse things that we can do better as a group, as individuals within the group. And then we put that game behind us and we very much focus on Ayr United away and seeing what we can do to improve that level of performance. That's all it's going to take. It's going to take improvement. I've came to a club that, you know, they've been struggling. You know, they did look fragile today, but it's a process now. It's a process of building up their confidence, getting a way of playing, you know, an identity in terms of how we play, and then trying to take that into games and picking up points.
Doc's going to get a great reaction out of them. I firmly believe that, but we asked our guys to go and be brave and stand up to the test and let our football do the talking, and I think in the first half we did that really, really well. And in the second half the game maybe flipped a little, but we had to go and show the other side of the game and dig in when we had to dig in and calm the game down when we did, and we're going to get the second goal as well, so it's a great one.
Arbroath stay third, now level on points with Wraith and inactive St Johnstone. County meanwhile prop up the division with just a single point from the opening 15. Plenty for Tony Docherty to get his teeth into. Now, a number of Celtic supporters groups have called a vote of no confidence in the club's board of directors. It comes after increasing unrest regarding Celtic's summer transfer business, which prompted a statement from the board this weekend. While addressing the fans, they said that the spotlight on transfer dealings had included inaccurate information. The Celtic board went on to say that they were subject to UEFA spending regulations, which restricted their transfer activity. Now, this goal is well worth putting on the telly. Montrose, they went top of the KDM Evolution Trophy League with a 3-1 win over Aberdeen B. But the headline was this. Former St Johnstone and Brecon City striker Ewan Loudon made this look effortless. But his scorpion kick goal was certainly a wow moment in the match. Matt Macado with the pinpoint cross, but Ewan Loudon, take a bow, son.
Yeah, super ball in, and then Ewan's goal is just a bit special. I'm not sure he'll score many more like that, but it's certainly a bit special when they come off and you do that. All around a good day for us, there's no question of that, and the confidence should build from that, Brian, because as I say, that certainly wasn't an easy game this afternoon against a right good, energetic side.
Yeah, he'll probably not score many better than that. That's all from me tonight.
Your window to sport. C.R. Smith sponsors STV Sport.
Well, time for the weather forecast now. Philip is here, and I didn't see it last night, and I believe a lot of people couldn't see it because of the cloud, but there was a very rare sighting in the sky.
Yes, Andrea, actually there was quite a lot going on in the sky last night. We had our 9th full moon of the year, the corn moon, which was also a blood moon because of its reddish tinge, and it was a total lunar eclipse too, for the lucky few who got to witness it. Unfortunately, the expectation was probably more exciting than the reality because there was quite a bit of cloud around, like you said, last night, making it quite difficult to see. I got up at 1:30 in the morning and managed to see the full moon itself. But if you were able to witness the eclipse, then count yourself lucky, as the next total lunar eclipse isn't until December 2028. Let's take a look at the forecast.
Midday Mayan temples, followed by sunny afternoons on the sand. TUI sponsors STV Weather.
Well, over the next couple of days, it is remaining fairly fine and settled, and it will be feeling pleasantly warm in any sunshine. It's not until we get to Wednesday this week things start to go downhill with the arrival of this area of low pressure from the Atlantic. That pushes in a series of frontal systems across Scotland. Those fronts bring with them bands of rain, and also the isobars become tightly packed. So that means that we'll be seeing some stronger winds. Back to just now, through the first half of this evening, still a chance of 1 or 2 showers spreading in from the south, but gradually those will ease, and then it will be turning largely dry for many of us. We'll see some clear skies. Where we've got the clear conditions, temperatures will be dropping, so some rural spots could get down to around 3 or 4 degrees Celsius. Under the clear skies, there's also a chance once again of catching the full moon. Now, looking ahead to tomorrow, any mist and fog patches that may have formed overnight will clear by around 9 o'clock, 10 o'clock. And then it's a fine day for the vast majority of us, remaining largely dry, plenty of sunshine on offer. In the best of the brightness, highs around 18 or 19 degrees Celsius. So those temperatures up a degree or two compared to today because our winds are coming in from the south and the southeast. Looking ahead to Wednesday, like I said, things going downhill, bands of heavy and persistent rain moving north and northeastwards, stronger winds and temperatures reaching highs of around 18 or 19 degrees Celsius. Bye-bye.
TUI sponsors STV Weather.
And that's how it's all looking so far this evening. I'm back with the late headlines at 10:30. Until then, from everyone here, have a great evening. Bye-bye.